And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Watch, which is a very straightforward name, Watch. But in this game, this is a post-war game. You know, let me kind of read you the synopsis of this, because this is a more unusual theme. You start working at a Soviet watch factory that you discovered used to be a World War II era munitions factory. So it's post-war here. You've been there you're sent there to produce gears, which you can sell for money, but you also need those gears to disguise the munition crates you smuggle out. Dig through the files in the foreman's office to uncover evidence of government corruption during the aftermath of World War II. Use the monitoring infrastructure in the foreman's office to catch your workers misbehaving and exact bribes from them. But be careful, someone might be watching you. That's an interesting theme. There's a lot of theme there. This is a worker placement game. The theme is kind of very much in the background. I mean, the theme's there. I mean, that's a cool cover, and it's kind of there, but this is a game about taking actions, making those actions better, and not getting caught while doing so. Let me show you. In this game, each player is going to have their own player board that has a disc on all the spots of this board. There's a big action board here, and then down here you have another board where you're going to be moving discs to. This is called Majority Tracks board. So in each round of the game, you're going to add a card here, and this card is put in a specific spot. You always put the eyes so they match the eyes here, and the cards will help keep track of the rounds. And then players are going to take turns. On the first turn, you're going to put your workers in turn order on different spots. At the end of a round, this is going to turn, and then you'll start with whoever's closest to it. They're going to pick up from their spot and move to an empty spot and take that action. Of course, there will be a new card that's out at that point too. So you're going to have some actions that you can take, but some will be blocked by other players. Even in a two-player game, there'll be an extra worker on the board. So you're going to take an action, and then in the quadrant of the board that you pick, whether it's warehouse, workshop, loading dock, or foreman's office, if I put my action here or here, then I'm going to pick that disc on the board, and I get to place this on one of these tracks here. And as the game goes by, these tracks are going to fill up. When you go on top of different things here, you might get rewards, like this gives you coins, these give you gears, etc. So let's talk about the different actions that are on the board. The first action here is smuggle. And you'll notice that some of the actions are gray because some of them are illegal. When you smuggle, you're going to be able to turn gears that you have in to get crates. And you'll notice there's a pile of crates next to the board that are different values at the end of the game. The ratio is based on your board. If all the discs are on a board, you turn in one gear to take one of these tan crates. Of course, you'll take the 3 value ones first. But then later on, you can pay a gear to get 2 of those, 2 gears to get a tan and a silver, and so on. If you have all these discs off, when you take this action, you can turn in 7 gears to take 2 of these very high-valued crates. The other action in the loading docks here is you can sell gears for 1 coin each, however many you want to sell. And then you're also going to get the bonus on the card. You see it matches the color there. So I would get, let's say I sold 5 gears, I'd get 5 money and an extra 2. So I would get 7 coins. You also can upgrade one of your crates. So I could turn in, let's say I have a level 2 brown crate, I could turn it in and take the highest white crate. So I might turn 2 points into 6 points. In the next section, we have the workshop. In overtime, you're going to get gears. How many gears do you get? Well, it's on your sheet here. You'll get 3. Unless you have these discs off, you can get up to 6 gears. You also get the gears that are shown on the card. Producing gears won't get you as many. It gets you whatever is shown on your card, but not the bonus that's here. But you can take one of your discs on this board and kind of move it up in line so that you're farther ahead and possibly get bonuses. Upgrade lets you pay money to take an additional disc off your board and put it on the majority board. Scrounge is going to give you gears and money at a lesser rate, which is shown here, although the more discs that come off, the better that will get. Searching files lets you draw cards. You can draw 2 cards and keep 1, although the more discs that come off your board, the better the rate is. So eventually you're drawing 6 cards and keeping 3. Cards let you do various things. The bank will pay a bribe. You can sell things for crates. There's only a few different cards, but they have different colors, and you're trying to get these different colors for endgame points. And then finally, watch. So watch comes into effect when this happens and you pick watch. You get a couple things. First of all, you get a little disc that essentially keeps you from getting caught, but you're going to be sneaking on other players, spying on them, depending on the number here. So in this case, it's 3. You're going to pick 3 locations, cards, and next turn, if any worker goes there, they're busted, and they're going to have to pay you money equal to basically the farthest open disc that they have. They'll pay the money above to you. And in this game, you can run out of money and be forced to take debts, which can be expensive to pay back. If nobody picks those cards, then the player basically they're randomly picked. So these cards will be picked starting in round 2. You can be in danger if you go to any of these 4 spots. The white ones are free. You'll never get caught there, but those actions are usually less egregious. After all the cards have been played and the final round happens, everyone has one final smuggling round where they can turn gears into crates. And then you're going to use this board to score everything. You will score points for all the crates that you've collected over the course of the game. You'll score points on your player board. The different player boards have point values on some of the tracks if you've opened them up. You'll score for set collections of the different player colors. So there's a little cards that give you this information. If you have all 4 colors, 25 points, and several cards of the same color can score you points. Then there are gear bonuses, coin bonuses, and crate bonuses, and that's what this other board is for. Whoever has the most in each line is going to score points, and the second most will score less points. So here, I'm going to score points for gears. The maximum you get is 60. That's still a lot of points. Here I'm scoring points for money. And then here I'm scoring points for crates that I've got. And this one has no maximum on it, but it's also harder to get these because you actually have to work hard to get crates. So you're going to add all this stuff together, subtract any points that you might have from debts that you've collected, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. The board is a bit drab. It's thematic. You know, again, you are spying on each other. It has this dark post-war appeal to it. The boards, I could have used maybe, they're thin, they're fine. I don't dislike them. It's, again, the whole thing's kind of drab. The game is fun. Well, I guess that's kind of a spoiler. I didn't mean to do that. But I just wish it was maybe a little bit brighter, but that's probably a matter of taste. More problematic, I like the money. The money's fine. These are really cool gears, right? They're metal and stuff. They're really tiny, though. They should be a little bit bigger. Everyone I played with kept complaining about how small they were. Not a deal breaker, of course. And the rules, they work well, but this game has a kind of a funky feel to it. By the way, I like the way the rulebook looks. I like how that cover is. So the components are kind of a mixed bag, but they're fine for the most part. So there's a couple things I really like about this. First of all, I'm a big fan of any game where you're like the part where you're removing the discs and making actions better. So you decide what actions are going to get better for you. And I want to make it so that I get more gears. I like that. I'm also a fan of what we call point salad games. No matter what you do, you get points. That's kind of what this is. You get points from crates. You get points for collecting cards. You're trying to have this area majority on this track down at the bottom. You are scoring points from all different things that come together, like taking the discs off your board. There's just lots of ways to get points, and you want to be the most efficient at doing it. And all this is tied to a pretty tight worker placement game. So if you play this with 4 players, and at the end, starting around 2, there's 4 workers on the board. I take my worker, I have to move it to a new spot, so there's already 3 other people there. There's only 4 spots to go to. And that's interesting. And that clock hand is turning around, so it's going to make the turn order different each time. Sometimes you want to go first because you want to get that spot that no one's in. Sometimes you want to go last because I want a spot that someone else is in and they move out and then I'll take it. That's interesting. And it works really well. It's tight, it's fun, and the game doesn't overstay its welcome. And then getting the gears, and what do you do with the gears? Do you want to turn them in for money and then go for that money bonus at the end, which could be 60 points? Or do you want to turn them in for crates? It seems to me that everything is fairly well balanced. This is not a game that's like hugely gonna, like, you know, I don't think you'll see this in the top 10 games that people have, but it's pretty solid. It reminds me in many ways of Furnace in that it has a few decisions, but they're really interesting. On your turn, you're going to pick one of these spots to go to. You're going to then pick where you want your disc, so you're fighting over these area controls here. You're also always wondering what spots were picked by the person who's spying on people. When that person picks spots, if you go there, you pay. If you are that person, you don't pay. You can go, and the game encourages you to go there because you get that little black disc, which means you don't have to pay if you get nailed in the future. That's kind of cool. It's at the beginning of the game, you're like, pay a coin or two, I don't care. Near the end of the game, you're like, I gotta pay 5 coins, I can't afford it. And these loans are dreadful. It's very interesting. This feels different than most games I've played lately. So definitely one I think you should check out. That's Watch. Watch this one. Dice Tower Judgment approved.